It was a cool evening. Of course, the city was getting into the holiday spirit at that time.
Amy was going to the mall with Sarah, and Jennifer went to work at the yogurt shop.
We believe that it was business as usual. The shift started about 7 o'clock.
It was set to close around 11 p.m.
Two of the girls had left to go to the mall and were coming to the yogurt shop.
They were going to have a big slumber party, a big sleepover.
It's Friday night, they're wanting to get out of there.
The girls were all picking up, cleaning up the yogurt store.
Something horrific and evil was about to walk in that door.
They were supposed to be home by 11, but they were already dead by 11.
It all started late one Friday night with a police radio call to Detective John Jones.
Jonesy?
Yeah.
You hear about the call 2900 West Anderson?
Yeah, I'm headed over there.
Okay.
I'll meet you out there. Homicide for
An Austin police homicide investigator happens to have a news crew riding with him in the car that night, and he gets a call and starts speeding to the scene.
Last 10-4, we're en route. Triple fatality. A murder. Oh, great.
The case that would become known as the Yogurt Shop Murders begins on a December night in 1991 in Austin, Texas.
There was a police officer, and he was just patrolling the neighborhood, and he noticed smoke coming out from one of the doors, and it turned out to be the yogurt shop.
So he pulled in to investigate and immediately called for fire officials to respond to the scene.
Fire suppression efforts were aimed towards trying to put out this fire.
And while doing so, they happened to trip over a body.
And that is when they discover a horrific scene.
Then they recognize it's 2, and then 3, and then finally 4.
The yogurt shop, it's probably like a typical retail space in a strip mall. You have the consumer area up front, tables and chairs, and there's a counter kind of in the middle, and then there's the back room where the storage and office and everything is.
I got there right after the fire had been knocked down. Very smoky. There was water dripping from the ceiling. It was overwhelming more than anything. I mean, a fire, 4 dead folks, young, burned, shot in the head. 3 of the girls were just totally not identifiable. They were burned too much.
As soon as the Austin Police Department realized the scope of what they were dealing with, they called in extra investigators to help them. Specifically, the FBI arrived at the scene, the ATF arrived at the scene.
It was an uphill battle to begin with, the processing that crime scene. Everything gets doused with water.
Because they did such a good job in putting the fire out, a lot of our evidence was destroyed.
There was evidence of sexual assault at the crime scene on the victims as well.
So all 4 girls were nude, and their clothing had been used to tie each other up.
They also took DNA from those victims.
So part of your standard sexual assault kit at an autopsy, besides swabs, is you also would take fingernail clippings. For that very reason, because you think if a woman's being sexually assaulted, there's a good chance she's gonna fight back.
And the fact that we were able to get any DNA and any evidence from this scene is pretty remarkable, especially given the year, 1991. You know, DNA really was not something we talked about back then.
Initially, it was thought that it was possibly a robbery gone wrong, a robbery that turned into a horrific murder because cash had been pulled out and there was some cash missing.
We're dealing with 4 beautiful teenage girls. 2 of them were sisters, Jennifer and Sarah Harbison, Amy Ayers, and Eliza Thomas, just beautiful girls. And it's just a tragedy.
These girls were so innocent, enjoying their high school years and their friendships and just having a really good time that night together.
So Eliza Thomas and Jennifer Harbison were working the evening shift that Friday night. It was set to close around 11 p.m. But 2 other girls, Jennifer's sister, Sarah Harbison, as well as her dear friend, Amy Ayers, they were at the mall earlier that evening, but went to the yogurt shop. They were going to have a big slumber party, a big sleepover.
They've swept, they've mopped, they've cleaned the yogurt machines, then put napkins in the napkin holders, all that good stuff.
The girls were doing what they do every time they shut the shop down. They were putting the chairs up on the tables. They were taking the money out of the cash register.
The girls were herded into the back of the shop where they were forced to strip. They were forced to tie each other up with their underclothes, bound and gagged. They were sexually assaulted, and then they were each shot in the back of the head, execution style. And the place was set on fire.
So all 4 girls were shot with a .22. And then Amy, the youngest victim, was also shot a second time with a .380 semi-automatic pistol. And that shell casing actually made its way into the floor drain.
The fact that Amy had a .380 and a .22, that she was shot by 2 different weapons, still remains a very intriguing piece of this case.
Logically, you would think 2 people, or at least 2 people. Why would you have 2 guns? So that was the working theory that it was more than one person.
It was a very limited amount of resources back in 1991 to devote to this case.
We're talking about, a 6-man homicide unit. So they were stretched thin from the very beginning.
I've been in homicide a pretty good time, and this is probably the worst one I have ever seen for the mere fact that it involved 4 young ladies all at the same time.
Over 3 decades after a horrible crime took the lives of 4 teenage girls and changed Austin forever, our hearts haven't healed. They're still broken for the precious girls we lost. The Austin police have announced that a significant breakthrough has been made in the yogurt shop murder case.